I challenge you or anybody on your staff, do a word search for Medicaid on the resolution that we passed last night. You will not find it. That is not part of this equation, okay? We're talking about finding efficiencies in every program, but not cutting benefits for people who rightly deserve that. Work requirements for Medicaid. That is something that is public opinion polls almost 90%. You don't want able-bodied workers on a program that is intended, for example, for single mothers with 2 small children who's just trying to make it. That's what Medicaid is for, not for 29-year-old males sitting on their couches playing video games. We're going to find those guys and we're going to send them back to work. That's what everybody supports. That's what the Republicans are for. And by the way, we find dignity in our work. That's going to be good for everybody.
Men are being arrested for not working. So, guys, I am absolutely concerned with the direction things are going in. Project 2025 made it sound like they were going to be focusing on rebuilding the family unit. However, it sounds like some people have different plans. So if you're a single man who is living your best life and collecting Medicaid, the state now wants to basically have a conversation with you because, as House Speaker Mike Johnson says, it's not designed for 29-year-old men who are laying on the couch playing video games. It's designed for single mothers. Today's video comes from Legion of Men. His channel will be linked in the description of the video so that you can go check him out and support him. Watch it end of the video to fully understand the implications of men being arrested for not working, what that means for men and society as a whole. Don't forget to follow us over on Rumble. We'll be releasing all of our videos on Rumble going forward within the next month. So some videos will no longer be released on YouTube just because of the way that YouTube is right now as a platform. So go and follow us over there so you're prepared for the big shift. And now let's just go ahead and jump right into the video right after a message from Angry's Crypto Academy. So guys, you know, hard times have arrived. The ATMs are going to stop working. The banks are going to chain up those doors. Protect your wealth and safeguard your future with crypto. Angry's Crypto Academy will teach you how to buy, sell, trade, and invest in crypto. And to make things even better, you can uncover 4 coins that virtually no one is talking about, poised to create new millionaires in the upcoming bull run. Click the link in the video description below to find out what these coins are and join the Academy today. And now let's go ahead and jump right into the video.
Back tribe. So we have an interesting article here. New York Post talking about disturbing rise of the NILFs, men not in the labor force. Very interesting that the mainstream is now talking about men taken out of the plantation, baby, just going their own way. And it's a problem because economic hits are coming down on us all. Government's feeling it. Tax base is feeling it. And after years and years of browbeating and telling you you're evil and destroying opportunities, shipping your job overseas, crippling a man's ability to provide for his family, now is a problem that he decides to not play the game. Okay. America's post-pandemic employment picture is an unsettling paradox. On one hand, job totals are finally back to pre-pandemic highs. Yeah, how many of those are actually decent jobs and not piece of shit gig or part-time opportunities? And unemployment rates skirt 50-year lows. Yet again, also horseshit. We know they don't count unemployment correctly. Unemployment should simply be, you have a job, yes or no. Not, well, but if you're looking for a job, yeah, but if you're in the market, well, if you're intending to get work, no, bro. Unemployment rate is far higher than they're reporting. If they reported the real numbers, people would absolutely be in shock. But at the same time, overall work rates are lower than they have been since the 80s. So that's a real picture you're getting. And millions of workers who dropped out of the labor force during the COVID-19 lockdowns have yet to return. A peacetime labor shortage has erupted, yet vast numbers of men and women are still sitting on the sidelines of the economy. America is renowned for its work ethic, and rightly so. The average worker in the United States clocks more hours each year than those in Canada, Australia, Western Europe, and now even Japan. That's not something to be proud of. We don't get anything for clocking in more. Our societies aren't turning into utopias. Our streets are full of crime, homeless, businesses closing down because mass looting. What are we getting for working like slaves to the bone? Oh yeah, we have an upper class that's richer than everybody else. Yeah, we have a government that taxes the hell out of everybody and collects so much money, they don't even know what to do with it. Anytime you try to audit the military industrial complex, they just can't explain where trillions of dollars go. Crazy. But those are work patterns of US men and women holding down a job. A flight for work in modern America is simultaneously afoot. First became evident among men in their prime between 25 and 54. Today, over 7 million of these men of prime working age are neither working nor looking for work. And now, in the wake of COVID calamity, the men without work syndrome seems to be spreading, afflicting parts of the US workforce that did not suffer from it before the pandemic. Work rates for older Americans 55 plus remain stuck at pre-vaccine levels. Warning lights seem to be flashing from prime age women as well. Oh my God, you screwed up men's abilities to find meaningful work. Women most affected? Modern America's flight from work problem began in the 60s among prime age men. For the first 2 decades of the post-war era, their work rates and labor participation were consistent and high. Then something happened. Ordinarily, prime age men are society's providers. Here we go. But a steady retreat from the workforce has been underway amongst this crucial contingent for over half a century. Today's work rates for prime age American men are actually lower than in the 40s, when America's unemployment rate stood at almost 15%. So our real unemployment rate is probably somewhere around here, 15%. And I'm asking you to think, viewer, what began in the 1960s that is being perpetuated through society today at increasing levels? What is it called? It starts with an F. It is no surprise that the tax base had doubled around then. It's no surprise that the workforce got flooded with more labor. It's no surprise that wages have began to go stagnant around that time in relation to cost of living and adjusting for inflation, of course. When did we start shipping job overseas? When did manufacturing start going overseas? Oh yeah, probably around that time too. Isn't it crazy? So the issues we're dealing with today all can be traced back to certain policies decades prior. Yes, prime age American men have a depression scale work problem today. But unlike in the Depression, the post-war collapse of work for men has little to do with unemployment per se, rather has been driven by exodus from the labor force. At the time of writing, for every unemployed prime age American man looking for a job, there are over 4 neither working nor looking for work. For 2 generations, the flight from work has exhibited uncanny regularity. 6 years ago, in my book Men Without Work first appeared, I showed the rising prime age male NILF rates traced out a near constant path from 65 through 2015, practically a straight line, steady heading upwards, all but unaffected by business cycles or other notable events. Today, unaccountably, it remains on almost exactly the same trajectory as in 2016, 6 world-shaking years and on 1 global pandemic later. At present, 6 world-shaking years, fucking leftists. At present, the prime age male NILF rate is at 3.5 times its 65 level. Received wisdom in academic and policy circles sees declining male workforce participation as a matter of economic and structural change. That's all it is. You see, it's just normal economics. It's just a change in the dynamics of the economy.
You see, guys, they want their indentured servants back onto the fields, back out in the fields, doing the work. Because here's the thing: men pay 80% of all taxes, women make 80% of all consumer purchases. If men are not working, then the economy is basically, and it just illustrates more and more that it's paper money that's worth nothing, as the feds continue to print money using treasury bonds that are backed by debt. And this just illustrates the situation going further. You don't have men in the economy. You don't have men generating the income, the tax revenue that they once were. Over 30 million men have dropped out of the workforce, 30 million working age men. And the problem continues to get worse and worse every day. Now you have Speaker Mike Johnson and members of the Republican Party who are saying that they need to get these men back to work, and they're going to find the young men who are currently collecting Medicaid and take their health insurance away, or suggesting that they'll take their health insurance away and force them back into the workforce. But think about this logically. That sounds like discrimination. If there's programs called SSI. There are programs, so SSI, SSDI. SSI is basically for needy people who are not able to provide for themselves. They're unable to find work. Keep in mind, it's very, very hard to find work in this economy today. extremely hard to find work in this economy today. So it's very realistic, unless a man is really pushing himself and grinding and looking super hard, and trying to find, all of these different companies, it's not going to happen. It's honestly extremely easy for the average man to basically try to prove that he's looking for work when the reality is that he can just go and apply for a bunch of jobs that he knows he will never get to satisfy the looking for work job requirement, and then continue to collect his check every month, from like, like cash assistance or whatever, so he can continue living, getting his food stamps, getting his cash assistance, getting his Medicaid, and then laying on the couch. And here's the thing: if as long as you have health insurance, this is insane. We're gonna find you if you're a 29-year-old man, 30-year-old man laying on the couch playing video games. That's not Medicaid is not for you. It's for single mothers. What what? No, Medicaid is for low income people, Mr. Johnson. The guys, this is it. We live in a society that does not like us and basically just sees us as walking wallets that are supposed to continue to subsidize the state, women and the state. All right, subsidizing single mothers, because that's what the purpose of Medicaid is. That's what the purpose of Medicaid and these social entitlement programs are. They're for these individuals. They are not for men. And here, the irony is that notice he doesn't talk about women. He doesn't mention, say, men and women laying on the couch. He says men, because a society without its men is not a society. A country without its men is not a country. A country without its men is a wasteland. The money in our system right now is just a joke. Like the whole, don't forget they're talking about doing the whole audit of the Federal Reserve. Despite this, is something that Rand Paul pointed out. Even though cash is no longer technically backed by gold, it still does give the value of our money. It still does help to validate the value of our money. All right. But if we find out that, hey, our assets are just not there, the assets that we think are supposed to be in what do you call it, in Fort Knox are not there, that could basically set off a chain of events where other countries lose faith in our ability to not only repay our debt, but to have any real tangible assets. And that could result in a reduced valuation of the dollar and greater inflation, much worse than we're seeing right now. I mean, guys, it's not a joke. This is the reason why I keep on telling you guys to go and invest in crypto. Don't mess around, invest in crypto, because the financial system is on the brink of collapse. ATMs will freeze, the banks will close their doors, and your assets are at serious risk. So discover how to protect your wealth with cryptocurrency. And at Angry's Crypto Academy, you'll master the skills to buy, sell, trade, and invest in the most secure coins, plus uncover 4 coins that virtually no one is talking about, poised to create new millionaires in the upcoming bull run. Click the link in the video description below to find out what these coins are and join the academy today. Also, guys, don't forget about crypto day trading. You can really make some serious money if you learn how to do day trading. It's a very, very important survival skill. I just want to tell you a little bit about the Crypto Trading for Dummies blueprint. With this blueprint, you'll learn how crypto day trading can help you earn daily profits, even starting small. Imagine making $30 a day with $100, or even hundreds daily trading small amounts. Working just an hour a day. It's written so simply that even a 5th grader can do it. With banks collapsing and the economy in chaos, this skill is your lifeline. Click the link in the description to check it out now. What I've come to realize is a lot of people have been irresponsible. There's a lot of Gen Xers who are in their 50s now. They know they were messing around, and now they're finding out because they have nothing safe for retirement. And then you have a lot of baby boomers who are now even in their 70s, some of them approaching their 80s, and they have no real means of long-term survival. They're living paycheck to paycheck. They're living social security payment to social security payment, and they're basically trying to figure out how to come up with some additional income. I've heard from multiple boomers at this point, and I've realized that everything that we believed regarding them is true. They are not, most of them are not fit for, they're not capable of sustaining retirement. A lot of them are looking at becoming passport kings and trying to leave the US because they cannot survive in the United States, the very same country that they built, that they turned into what it is right now. They cannot survive here anymore, and they're planning their exit flights where they're trying to scrape as much as they can from the from whatever is left. There's really nothing left, but they're still trying to take whatever they can with them. And they're not in good shape. They're in terrible financial shape. Many of them, there's such a level of arrogance that many of them that will try to play it off, but they're not. These people, especially a lot of the younger ones, they're not going to be able to make it through retirement. The reason why is because one, Social Security is just not what it used to be, and because of hyperinflation, the average boomer spends somewhere between $50,000 to $55,000 a year on their expenses, and that's a boomer who is out of the workforce. So if you're a boomer and you are not in the workforce, and you need $50,000 to $55,000 a year to survive, you're not going to get that with Social Security. You're not going to get that with your scant pension. So you're basically going to be living hand to mouth, and you're going to end up in a state of extraordinary poverty and destitution because you're not going to be able to afford living expenses. The economy, the housing market that you've created, where rents are insanely high, and people younger than me at the in the prime of their working years cannot afford to survive. And you're what, now in your 60s or 70s, and what are you going to do? You can't go back into the labor force. Being a Walmart door greeter is not going to cover the rent, so you're going to end up living in your car or eventually living on the street. If you're lucky, you can get into a shelter, but those are not so easy. And you can't, and what are you going to do, spend the rest of your life living in a shelter? And then they turn around and they become crybabies. I call them the crybaby individuals. Crybaby, someone referred to them as the crybaby boomers. They start saying that this has happened to them through no fault of their own, but they were handed everything. They took everything, they squandered everything, and now they want their kids to bail them out. These are the same people who say that their kids owe them something simply because they gave them life. You wouldn't be here if we didn't give you life. So you need to be grateful and pay us back. What kind of crazy mentality is that? And there are people in the comments like, it's obviously boomers, like, well, they do have a point. You definitely owe them. You've got it, guys. Only who would say that? Only a boomer. Only a boomer would say that you owe the boomers because they brought you into this world. We didn't choose to be, we did not choose to be children, but the boomers chose to be parents. It's an insane level of selfishness. They never wanted us. And then the thing is that we were just their backup plan. So they tossed us out as quickly as they could into the world. And some people are like, they were trying to prepare you for the world. No, they weren't. They didn't want you. Do you realize that that the boomers are the first generation in history, as far as we can tell, that actually is celebrating the fact that many of them will have longer lives than their children? They are celebrating the fact that they are far wealthier than any generation to ever live. Okay? They are celebrating the fact that they are far wealthier than their children. All right? While their children are in horrible poverty, they're celebrating how wealthy they are, even as many of them are going broke because of poor money management. They're celebrating that that some of them are going to outlive their kids. Like, it's very feasible that a lot of the boomers will outlive their kids, and they are celebrating that they will have higher life expectancies than their children. Who does something like that? That should illustrate that our parents never liked us. Okay? And now many of them don't know what to do. They're turning to us like it's our responsibility to take care of them. They made it very clear that, life's hard and it's basically up to you. Figure it out for yourself. And then they talk about kindness. I don't know. It's absolutely insane. I saw a comment on one of my videos. I saw a comment on one of my videos where this guy goes, "You must really HATE the boomers for you to be saying the kinds of things that you're saying." Say what? I'm just literally posting screenshots of some of the things that the boomers have said. Like, for example, let's see here. Let's get this on the screen. So this was on my comment. Boomers want us to thank them for giving us life. Do you agree or disagree with them? Right? And that was a poll I made. Most people disagreed. But then this person named Cullen leaves a comment. What does Cullen have to say? He says, "Why do you have such HATE for the boomers? You really think they're the ones who did this to America? Seriously? They are not responsible." Who would say this? A boomer. They are not responsible. If you want to find out who is really responsible, look at the banking individuals, starting with, a group of people that we will not mention. Your discernment isn't very good if you can't even lock in on who actually was behind all of this. So the boomers are the ones who flooded the polls and voted for all of these policies and continue to vote for all of these policies. The boomers hold 80% of the stock market. The boomers own the vast majority of BlackRock investment firms. So if they own 80% of the stock market, logically speaking, they would also own about 80% or more of all the investment firms in the United States. They are by far the wealthiest generation to ever live in the history of the world. The only people that can challenge the wealth of the average boomer are ancient rulers. But by dollar amounts, they are probably the wealthiest generation of people to ever live. And in terms of life expectancy, they have the longest life expectancy of any group of people in the history of humanity by far. Before the boomers, the longest life expectancy ever was the age of 63. The average life expectancy age for a boomer today is now 79, which is greater than their children's generation. So it's greater than the Gen X, the millennials, Gen Z, and it will be Gen Alpha, and it will be higher than Gen Beta. So let's see, Gen X, millennials, which are technically Gen Y, Gen Z, Gen Alpha, and soon to be Gen Beta. 5 generations. The boomers have lifespans. 5 generations. They will have a life expectancy greater than 5 generations that came after them. And but we should not be paying attention to any of this stuff. It's someone else. It's the boogeyman. As though they think we're stupid. And then if we talk about things, we use reason, or I post screenshots of the things that they're actually saying. When they say, "Oh, angry, you're lying." Oh, really? Here's a screenshot from the baby boomers. They go into complete denial mode, or they try to sweep it under the rug. That is corruption and narcissism. And that same type of narcissism and sociopathic behavior was something that was passed on to modern women in society today, who believe that they are basically better than men, even though they need men to survive. They cannot survive without us. We have to continually subsidize their living while they tell us that they do not like us. And yet, when they see us leaving and doing things like going overseas to find a new life with a Filipino wife, they start to label us a variety of different things and shame us and saying that we're doing something wrong, and if we just don't want to get our money up so that we are capable of attaining one of them. Who the heck it wants to work to go become a millionaire so that you can possibly allow a woman in Western society to extract your wealth and resources from you so that she can get her cut and the state gets their cut, and then they rinse and repeat with another simp? This is frightening, though. We're going to take your health insurance away. If you're an able-bodied man, we're going to snap that health insurance isn't for you. That health insurance is for single mothers. We're going to take your health insurance away and force you back to work. The only thing they're going to end up doing is result. The only thing they're going to do, they're not going to get men to go back to work. They're just going to leave a bunch of men without health insurance. Okay? If they try this crap, they are not going to get men. They're not going to get men to go back to the workforce. They're going to just result. They're just going to have a bunch of men who have no health insurance because they were cut off by Medicaid, which is going to just result in more debt in society. And of course they can sweep it onto the rug all they want, but taking away a man's health insurance is not going to force him back into. It's not going to get him back into the workforce. It's just going to create more debt in society and result in more men refusing to go to the doctor when they need to and trying to take care of it on their own. Because keep in mind that most of the healthcare system is used heavily by women. Men barely go to the hospital. We only go when something is really, really wrong. But okay, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to take away your food stamps. Go ahead. Okay, we can survive without them. Well, we're going to take away what are you going to do? What else can you take away? We'll take away your health care. No health insurance for you, and no health insurance. Hey man, if something happens, you might not make it. Yeah, bro, you only live once. If I make it, I make it. If I don't, I don't. I'll just take my chances. Like, this illustrates just how much society does not like us and views us only as indentured servants, as wallets to extract wealth and resources from. That's why I say you should be learning things like day trading, crypto day trading. You should be learning how to buy, sell, and trade crypto. You should be learning about which coins will help you to become, help you to gain financial freedom. Guys, if you think you've missed the boat on Bitcoin, think again. The crypto world is exploding with new opportunities. And while Bitcoin has already made its millionaires, there's still a chance for you to get in early on the next big wave. I've put together an exclusive guide on 4 altcoins that could change the game and change your financial future. These aren't just hype coins. These are real projects with groundbreaking technology and massive upside potential. This is your chance to get in before they hit the mainstream. But listen, crypto isn't just about getting rich, it's about freedom. Freedom from traditional banks, freedom from government-controlled money, and freedom to take back control of your life. That's why I created Angry's Crypto Academy. When you join the academy, you'll learn everything you need to know about cryptocurrency, how to buy, sell, and trade the right way, how to spot the coins that can truly take off, and how to use crypto to achieve real economic freedom. And here's the best part. When you subscribe, you'll get a free copy of my crypto blueprint. This is packed with valuable tips and strategies to help you get started, and it's yours just for joining. The link is in the description below. Don't wait around and miss another opportunity like Bitcoin. Those who act now will be the ones who win big. So if you're ready to take back control of your finances and start your journey to freedom, join Angry's Crypto Academy today. Let's make it happen.
It's not policies. It's not culture wars. It's nothing that was instituted decades prior. That people on the other side were yelling, hey, this is going to negatively impact men. Hey, this is going to negatively impact the workforce, the jobs that are available. Hey, this isn't good for the future of our children. Hey, no. This is normal. This is expected as the economy evolves into its modern day form. At least that's what they tell us. The eggheads in college, It says reduced demand for less skilled work, technological innovation and disruption, globalization, and the like. True to an extent, but that demand focused storyline is critically incomplete. Those conventional explanations can't account for some of the most basic characteristics of the post-war male flight from work, not at least its relentless, near invariant nature. Further, given today's unprecedented peacetime labor shortage, variations on the no work to be had argument are no longer tenable. Major sections of the economy are now wide open to applicants without any great skills, apart from the quote skills of showing up to work regularly, on time, and drug free. Oh, it's always the man's fault. There you go. We're just losers. We don't want to work and we're drug addicts. Awesome. In a post lockdown recovery, job openings soared. Since Labor Day 21, unfilled non farm positions have averaged over 11 million a month. For every unemployed man and woman in the US to date, there are nearly 2 open jobs. The current labor shortage affects every sector of the economy in every region of the country. Well, if we're going to go by, supply and demand, market economics, why don't you offer to pay more? I hear this all the time. We're trying to hire for work. The wages look like dog shit. If you are that hungry for employees, raise the damn pay. The job gets filled. You want slaves to work for you that can't survive off the paycheck you're trying to provide, or the hours you're trying to provide, or the benefits you've curtailed, and you're surprised no one wants to work for your shit company.
The reality is that men realize that if you're not going to get married, you're not going to have children. The social contract was broken. There's no reason to break your back anymore, because the average man can live happily in a shoebox at the side of the road. The average woman cannot. Once a man figures out how to keep a roof over his head for minimal cost or nothing at all, you know, and afford basic utilities and food, he doesn't really have to worry about anything. Keep in mind, most men are more than happy to eat meat and potatoes every single day and just chill. Okay. Men are very comfortable, eggs are very expensive now, but men are very comfortable with simple things, simple foods. All right. And those foods are great. Men will prepare decent meals for themselves and enjoy these meals because the average man knows how to cook and clean, while the average woman today no longer does, because they've been conditioned to believe that cooking and cleaning is a form of disrespect towards women. Unless a man is doing it, then it's acceptable. It's acceptable for a man to cook and clean, but it's not acceptable for a woman to do it, even for herself. So many women deliberately never learned how to do these things, and as a result, forget about doing it for a family. They can't do them for themselves. Hence, they can't take care of themselves, and be functional adults. So men, on the other hand, are able to survive by themselves. They can live alone happily by themselves. We're conditioned to be by ourselves because society has pushed us out. Women have told us that we're not entitled to even a conversation. So men stopped approaching, men stopped talking. Men basically have had to learn how to live in solitude. All right. And that's why men are withdrawing from society. And now a society that is increasingly hostile towards men is demanding men go back into a society that does not like them, and labor along to create tax revenue so that we can subsidize single mothers, because that's the target demographic for Medicaid, as Speaker Mike Johnson said earlier in the video, as well as the baby boomers who need us to subsidize their living so they can enjoy their retirements. Right? You've got to be kidding me. Men see the scheme and they're realizing that they can just work very little or not at all, do jobs here and there, or in some cases just live off the interest from their savings or other forms of passive income, and just simple lives, live far below their means, simple lives of luxury and comfort. If a man has his video games, if a man has books, comics, art, men will find ways to keep themselves entertained. If a man has his dog, some men give a guy a dog, a little bit of entertainment. He doesn't need much. He'll just relax. Think about it. Most men who have families don't even get to enjoy playing games or these luxuries because they have to work around the clock. Even myself, I really do not get to play games as much as I want to, even though it's a part of my job, because I'm so busy creating content. and I'm a single man, but at least all of my money is my money. Now, think about this when it comes to the average man that has a family and a wife to take care of, and he is the sole, or just our primary breadwinner. He has no time at all. This is the reason why a study revealed that fathers have the worst hearts. Being a father, being a married man without children, is a significant indicator that you will have a much shorter life. On the other hand, single, never married men not only have the longest lives among all men, but they are increasingly having lives that are going beyond women. So, single, never married men are now beginning to outlive women in the same age brackets. And it's a very interesting thing, because once you control for, things like age and gender, and and the types of and health conditions and so forth, you discover that when a man stays single and he doesn't have the stress and all that other stuff that comes with being married and having children, he's able to take better care of himself. He's able to focus on himself. He's going to his body his body is not going to get as worn out, and his lifespan is going to be much greater. No one wants to admit that the reason why men have shorter lives than women is because we have to sacrifice much more. What do you guys think regarding all of this? Men are being arrested for not working. Are you surprised? Let me know your thoughts. We'll talk about it in the comments. Like the video if you like it. Don't forget to subscribe. And if you like the video, share the video. And just remember that all roads lead to MWA, men walking away. And cheers.
Nothing says you care like crypto. Nothing can compare. Nothing says you care like crypto. Oh, nothing can compare to crypto.